Well, hi guys and gals, it's me George, the shade-free fix-it man. And as you can see, I have the front end of my HHR torn apart. I'm in the process of replacing my wheel bearings, axle bearings. And I was making a video of how to do it. And yep, my camera crashed. And so I lost all that footage. And then I decided, well, I'll get my leaf blower working. It is fall and the leaves are starting to come in. And I was going to do some leaf blowing outside as well. And I had to let the gas run out on this. And so I filled it up with gas. And I primed it and it wouldn't start. I ended up replacing the primer bulb because I found out that it was cracked and it wouldn't prime. And I pulled this apart. This is the fuel line. And come to find out, the filter is plugged up, and that's why it wouldn't prime up anymore, because it had dried out. And I presume that when I did this, and I had probably had some gas that had ethanol in it before, and as you can see, it's all junked up inside there. So I thought, well, I'll just order. This was cracked on here. You know, you can see where this is all cracked and falling apart and brittle, and so I figured, well, maybe I'll just get a new line. Well, it cost $10 for that fuel line and the filter, and it cost $13 to buy a complete carburetor that comes with an extra primer bulb, an extra air filter, and the fuel line, and the spark plug. So for $4 more, I decided, well, I'll go ahead and order that. So I decided to move on from that project onto something else. So that something else was something I started quite a long time ago. And I was going to make a follow-up video on it because I was going to finish it up. And that is my console for here in my truck. Well, the problem is the finish on it came out terrible. I decided to try some lacquer finish on it, made for wood, and it turned everything white, like you can see. I'm hoping that as it continues to cure, suppose it dries to the touch. It's been dry to the touch since about after an hour. I put 2 coats on it, and then it says it takes 7 days for total curing. So maybe, I don't know, maybe after the 7 days this white stuff will go away. Don't know. Doesn't appear to be at the moment. It should all look like this right here. Yep. It should do the trick though. It's nice to have a console with cup holders in the middle and a place to store my CDs and probably some cassettes too, as well as a few other things. So that kind of, yeah, that I was planning on finishing up and making a video on that yesterday. And then I came down here to work on the Goofy cart. And I thought, well, the oil drain thing that I had on there, this custom thing here, had been leaking. So I decided to change it, and which I did. And in the process, because I had to drain the oil out, I figured I'd change the oil. So I put fresh oil in it. I thought, well, I'm going to start it. So then I tried starting it, and I have this fuel bottle set up here just to get it started, and so I could run it through the gears. Well, before I did that, I realized the battery was dead, so I charged the battery. But when I went to start it the other day, it wouldn't start because even though it was getting gas in here, it still wouldn't start. Which leads me to believe that probably either the needle valve is stuck down inside the carburetor, or the gas that's in there probably has some water from condensation, because I probably had ethanol gas in this last time I drove it last year. So I'm going to take carburetor off, clean it out no matter what. At least the battery is working better than it was. So after those missteps, I decided I'm going to do something entirely different. And let me show you what I did. So I decided I needed something for my sundial to sit on. And I had thought, well, everybody does it on a tree stump or on a cement pole. And actually, I had this on a cement base when I had it in Minnesota. And that's cool. But I wanted to do something different. And so I started picking parts out and putting them together. And this is what I came up with. Now, what do you think these different parts are? Some of you older guys may recognize them if you look at them closely. Now, I'll tell you that the middle part's a big round thing here, and this part here, and this threaded piece here. They all were part, I believe, of either a corn sheller or an apple press. I'm not sure exactly which. It was motorized. There was another one of these kind of things here, which I still have. But then, yeah, I started putting things together, and I needed something to stabilize that long spindle there. So I put a couple of old funky wrenches on here. And they're not welded to the spindle, they're just against it to hold it in place, give it some stability. And it actually will still screw up and down a certain amount, not a whole lot. And I just came out here now and I set the timing on it. You know what time that says? That's a V. That's 5 o'clock. I don't know really how to set these things, but that's as close as I can get. So that's my sculpture made out of junk. And that's what I ended up accomplishing today and yesterday, because today is the second day. I actually started this last night and then finished it today, as well as doing a few other things around the shop, which I'll show you. This eagle was in a lot of stuff that I bought at an online auction, and it was in pieces. So I reassembled it and mounted it up there. Used to be popular for these back in the 70s, not so much anymore, but I like it. And I have this flag, which was already up there, and of course I have this flag over here. I do live in Tennessee now. We're still the United States. And I found a way of hanging up some of my stuff to get it out of the top of my toolbox so I could hang my helmets up along the wall there. And I found this in my office in the house. Decided to put that up. It's not a vintage one, it's just made to look like a vintage one. And then I added a couple more signs up here. Always going to take time to stop and smell the roses. Of course, this was given to me by my grandchildren, or my children, I can't remember which. But it's true either way. Grandpa's Fix-It Garage. And you see what the payment is? Repay with just smiles and hugs. And that's all I ask. And I added this one up here too. And of course, my garage, my rules. So that's the way it is today. This is, I believe, the 30th of September, 2022. And I tore this all apart yesterday. Wednesday. Wednesday I tore it apart. And I got my parts today, but they didn't come till later this afternoon, so I will be putting it back together tomorrow. And I'll probably try to do a video to show how to take it apart and how to put it back together. And there are a couple of tips along the way for things that might be helpful for somebody else doing this job. So there you have it. Even when life gives you lemons, it's never too late to make lemonade out of it. Hope you're having a good day where you are. It's beautiful here. Don't forget to pray for the folks down there in Florida. And if you have a way of helping them out, that would be a great thing to do. Thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, thumbs up, sharing, all them good things. Till next time, this is George. Bye for now.